Hey everyone, welcome back. It is time for another wrestling review. Today we are going to be reviewing TNA's Against All Odds, not the Phil Collins song, but the pay-per-view. Good song though. I think I'll throw a little. If you know the song, I'll throw in a little clip right here. Take a look at me now.
Oh,
But
yeah, I'm
you never
waiting.
knew the song. It's a good song. It's a good
I
song.
don't know the song.
Okay. But we are reviewing TNA's Against All Odds. This took place from Chicago, CM Punk's hometown, but he was in Joe Henry's hometown of Scotland instead.
Well, they did have hometown boy Ace Steel, everyone's favorite wrestler.
Even though wasn't he was on the match too, wasn't he? Yeah, Mustafa Ali. He's from
Yeah,
Chicago.
there was somebody else too there. I can't
Yeah.
remember, but yeah.
But with me once again, we have Campo.Reviews, the man who reviews movies, TV shows, everything in between. Yeah, we should have some stuff coming out for you in the next little while. Maybe a review of The Acolyte coming out soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Game of Thrones eventually,
Yeah,
whenever it's
eventually.
finished.
First, I watched the first episode. Pretty good. Pretty good.
I did not, so thank you for at
It's
least I
I'm
know
just
it's gonna
saying
be
it's
good. No,
but
at
you
least
know
I
it's
know
gonna
it's gonna
be.
be good.
You know it's gonna be good.
But now I know.
Now you know. And knowing is half the battle.
Exactly.
But it's not G.I. Joe, it's Reboot instead. Nice. Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know my stuff. All right.
No stuff.
So we'll get right into the show. Did you watch any of the pre-show?
Yeah, I did.
You actually did this time. Okay. So the first match, Sami Callihan, Jonathan Gresham. Let's talk about this because this was a silly as hell match.
I like the Kushida part. I mean, the
But
match
that's what
work was
made like I mean,
okay.
there's nothing wrong. I didn't say it was bad. I just said it was silly.
Yeah, it was. I think though,
He
like
just wore his wrestling trunks and a lab coat.
let's talk. I know that's what made it so funny. It's like they want us to know that he's testing it, but to make sure for the stupid ass people watching, they're like, we'll put him in a lab coat. They'll figure it out. He's a scientist. Um,
Just like Doc Brown.
a poor Kushida.
Yeah.
But I do still think like this is, and I don't even like Sami Callihan, but these names are too big to be on a pre-show.
On a three names.
For
All three.
For TNA.
Mm-hmm.
If this was WWE or AEW or New Japan, I could understand it because you have a stacked roster.
Yeah.
But when you're making roster spots for some things we're going to talk about later, it doesn't. I don't understand how you put these people on a pre-show.
Yeah, there's at least one match that should have been on the pre-show.
No, I'll name all of them. This should not have been on a paper, even though these names are big enough to not should have been on a pre-show. This match didn't need to be on this pay-per-view.
No, this could have been done on an Impact.
Yeah,
to tell that story. Yeah, but Sami Callihan does win. He gets distracted by Kushida. Kushida steals the ink out of Gresham's mouth, puts it in a little test tube, and makes sure everybody sees that he has him in his hands.
If he came out in like a Doc Brown wig or something, that would have been like,
that would have been even funnier. But nope. But he came out in the Marty McFly color hat though.
It's true, he did.
Yeah. But Callihan goes over in a really quick match. I like the stuff that happened before the match, the little hardcore stuff that was. So with that, we are going to our next pre-show match. It is the Militia is now their name. Against defending their TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships against the Hex. It's like, we don't have an opponent for you guys, so let's bring back Allison Kay and Marty Bell.
Well, it was fine for me because
it was a good match.
The match was actually good.
Yeah.
And like, I know these are the tag titles and that's fine for me. And once again, I feel like segregating these tag matches to the pre-show doesn't make sense. Masha Slamovich is a huge name. I get the other ones aren't, but it's for the tag titles.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And the belt that's normally defended on the pre-show, he didn't even have a match. AJ Francis.
That's true. I mean, like I said, this match was actually good. It's just, but in addition to it all, it didn't need to be on the pay-per-view.
Now, my question is, like, Allison Kay and Marty Bell, they're very accomplished female wrestlers. I would say they're like mid to high tier. I wonder why no other promotion ever gave them a chance.
I don't know. I couldn't answer that for you. Maybe they're running the indies and they like the money.
Okay, that makes sense. But of course, they would retain. They are not going to lose just yet. The Militia wins. Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich, they retain their belts. So with that, we'll go on to the main show. We open off the show with Santana and Steve Macklin, which is such a random pairing. against the Rascals.
This match was really good.
It was
This,
for a
this is
Burt
gonna be
Macklin
this.
match.
This is gonna be the story I think of this pay-per-view, but like the storyline for this is dumb. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
You made a storyline where Steve Macklin and Ortiz or Santana, sorry, are beefing, and then they tagged up, and now the beef is over because they tag team together.
More like the enemy of my enemy is my friend or
Yeah, but
something.
it didn't feel like that at the end.
Yeah.
It felt like the crowd reacted differently, and then they just went with the crowd reaction, kind of like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like it felt imbalanced. I mean, obviously it's a good match. It's hard. The Rascals are really good.
Yeah. And I can see they're trying to turn Macklin face.
Yeah, and Santana's capable. Macklin is
Yeah.
capable. So you're
Yeah.
not like putting together a bad match. But like, did I need this match on the pay-per-view? Once again, no. That's 3 matches in a row now.
Yeah. But Macklin and Santana do go over in a decent match. It wasn't bad.
All the matches so
Yeah.
far were good. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna knock them, but I think with TNA, I'm bringing a new element of the way I'm judging their pay-per-views.
Yeah. Same here because, and again, our next match on the card is another what the hell match. Like, what? This makes no sense. Rich Swann against PCO.
This match wasn't very good and
No,
absolutely
I
did
wouldn't
not
even
to
call
be
this a
here.
match.
Yeah, it didn't even need to be on this card. It's just to ram people on it. And if you're trying to ram name value, you had Jonathan Gresham and Kushida and Sami Callihan and
This
Masha
you
Slamovich.
could have easily swapped this match out for the Sami Callihan match on the pre-card.
And like I said, regardless of what I'm saying here of which matches should be and shouldn't be, I still think now you've hit 4 matches in a row that don't need to be on a pay-per-view.
All 4 of these first matches felt like pre-show or an episode of Impact or something.
Yeah. And we're gonna get
because
to
all
it,
they did was progress storylines here.
Exactly. And they're
Pay-per-views
not
are usually
storylines that matter.
No, but pay-per-views are usually meant to finish off a storyline or start a new story or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or like I know that they're doing this because it's an audience thing. TNA doesn't draw a big like paying streaming or like
Yeah.
buying pay-per-view crowds. So the point of the pay-per-view being really long
Is to
for
stack the
crowd.
card, to give
so
them value for their money.
Yeah. So the people who are coming to the venue where they're making all their money get like a value, and I get that. But I do think that at some point down the line, they need to go to like a WWE type pay-per-view schedule.
5-6 matches and that's it.
Yeah, over like trying to be like AEW, because AEW, sure, you get a bunch of matches that don't belong on a pay-per-view, but the actual match is so good that you're like, okay, I don't care. It's like
I'll
New
take
Japan,
it.
right?
Yeah,
I don't want to
but
watch
it's
these
when you
two
get
idiots
PCO
fight.
versus Rich Swann with shenanigans by AJ Francis, nobody cares.
Also, did you hear what his real name is?
Who?
PCO.
Pierre Carl Ouellet.
No, it stands for primary something one.
Really?
Like it's like his kayfabe name.
His gimmick name. Okay.
His gimmick name. It's like primary creature one or something like that.
Okay. I just remember him as Pierre Carl Ouellet.
Yeah, obviously.
Perfect Creation one.
Perfect Creation one.
Thank you, Timmy.
Isn't that crazy? I was like, what the fuck? Because we all know it's Pierre Carl Ouellet. But
yes,
okay.
The one-eyed pirate.
I did like the fun little stuff at the end with Steph DeLander. Like,
that's save that for an episode of Impact. Don't waste time on a pay-per-view with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
It's like I'm trying hard here to judge this fairly because I do think
the matches were good. Like up until this match,
you had 3 matches that were pretty solid.
Yeah. And then even the next match, we'll go. PCO does retain in a quick match. He goes on a date with Steph DeLander.
Yeah, good for him.
Good for him. I just noticed on the pay-per-view she has her initials tattooed under her eye.
Yeah. Also, she has implanted diamonds in her teeth.
Yes. But whatever floats your boat. So we're gonna go the System defending the TNA World Tag Team Championship against the Nemeth brothers, Nick and Ryan Nemeth.
So this one, I don't know how much I liked this match. It wasn't that long actually, but it felt really long.
Yeah, it was only 12 minutes.
It felt, I swear to you, like over 20. Like around like probably like the 10-minute, 9-minute mark of the match. I was like, how is this still going?
Still on?
And I looked and I'm like, holy shit, it hasn't even been long.
Yeah. But it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
I'm still not a fan of Brian Myers. This is clearly we are booking ourselves to win.
They work better as a tag team,
Yes,
but
they do.
the system storyline, I like where it goes by the end of this pay-per-view,
Hmm.
but
They're
it's like,
trying to create a bloodline.
yeah, and they're trying to create an anti-bloodline like Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn, and like how they
Yeah,
were all teaming up, like big names actually teaming up.
yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm okay with it, but it's I don't the people who chose to be the bad guys are literally not bankable people.
Really, I would say your biggest name is Moose, and he's not even.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I don't know. They get a guy later.
Yeah, Eddie Edwards' best days are behind him.
Wait, don't they get him right now? Isn't this when
Yeah, Dirty Dango.
Dirty Dangle joins the
Dirty Dango
system?
joins the system. Yes, he turns on the Nemeth brothers, costs them the match, and Dirty Dango is now part of the system unofficially.
Yeah, well, he was in the picture, so I feel like
Yeah,
he's gonna be.
yeah, but the system do retain. Like I said, this is just the system booking themselves to win.
Yeah, it's like, wasn't Kenny King part of the system for a bit, and then like he's just disappeared now?
Yeah, Joe Henry. I used to be a male stripper.
Wow.
That was good. But yeah, we'll go on to the next match, which, as much as we love him, Joe Henry versus Frankie Kazarian.
Could have been a pre-show match.
Yeah, this match had no stakes to it whatsoever. If
No,
you
it's
wanted,
just to put over Joe Hendry.
yeah, that's exactly what it was. Joe Henry is like he's bankable right now. He is probably the hottest commodity TNA has right now.
In terms of moving product, probably,
Popular,
yeah.
yeah.
I would say so. I don't think there's anyone even close to as big as him.
Could they be posing him for a world championship run? Could he be the one? Well, we'll
The
discuss it at the end of the show when
Yeah,
everything happens. But yeah, but
The match
again,
was okay.
but the thing is, it was supposed to put over Joe Henry because Arian wins in a cheap
Yeah,
win, but still,
but you could tell like what it was meant to do initially, right? So
yeah,
at this point, you had three good matches, a not good one, and then two okay ones. And realistically, zero of these had to be on the card except maybe the men's tag, because that's like you got to have that
yeah, because
on the
it's a
pay per
belt.
view.
But Kazarian does go over in some strange cheap win. So with that, we're going into our next match, which is Mustafa Ali defending against Trent Seven, the TNA X Division Championship. This was a
Fucking
banger of a.
excellent. This
This
was
was a match
excellent.
and a half. Yeah,
Yeah, this arguably could be match of the night. It was
I
so
think this
good.
was match of the night to me.
I I would say I'll agree with you, yes, but I would say the tag match at the beginning with the
This the Burt Macklin and Santana.
yeah, that was a pretty solid match.
Yeah, it
Um,
was. But like, I mean, you have two accomplished stars. Mustafa Ali. The only thing I didn't like was what they did to make him a heel in his hometown. It's like, oh, but this is what happened after the camera was, I hate those little stupid like,
yeah, and I don't know. I don't know.
yeah,
But
like
the
I mean,
match
I
was
get it.
really good.
He's from Chicago, and the crowd, obviously, if you're from like the crowd's going to cheer for you whether you're a face or you're a heel in your hometown.
Yeah.
We discussed it yesterday on the Clash at the Castle review, where Drew McIntyre was technically the heel going into this match, but he got such a babyface reaction from it that they had no choice but to turn him face just for that match. And spoiler for those who didn't watch Raw on Monday, Drew McIntyre quits.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, and not that's can I just say something on that?
Mm.
That's kind of baloney, because like we
They
just all saw the video of him and The Rock and him
with the
signing and
sword,
like all
yeah.
that dumb shit. So like you can't even kayfabe us your way out of this, because
No,
The Rock breaks kayfabe constantly. So you can't try to hold it with this.
no. And like as good as the product has been, I can't stand the Liv Morgan Dominic storyline.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Zelina Vega hasn't won a match since January of 2023. Let's give her a title shot.
The video that you posted is the funniest video. How their songs are so generic that they have to say their names at the beginning of the
Yes,
song so
it's
people know
Tiffy
who they are.
time. Yeah,
Yeah, that's fucking
it's true though. It
hilarious.
is true. Yeah, yeah. I have it on my Instagram. Go check it out on there. But link is in the description below. Go follow that when I remember to put it. But Mustafa Ali, this was go back to the match. This was one hell of a match. Mustafa Ali, his talents are really being utilized in TNA.
Yeah, and the match was fast too. It was like 100
Yeah.
miles an hour for the whole match,
And
and
for
I
a guy who's a
appreciate it.
little bit like, like no offense to the Trent Seven, he's a little bit on the heftier side.
He did get
He's
in much
thick.
better shape
Yeah.
since from the day when we saw him wrestle at Rev Pro
Hmm.
to today. Which is probably what, like 3 months. He's
No,
gotten
we
like
went December.
no, I mean when we saw him wrestle the Rev Pro Royal Quest or whatever it
Oh,
was.
Royal. Yeah, yeah. That was back in
No,
November. That was
actually that
even
was in
before.
November. You're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But from them to now, he's in way better shape.
Yeah.
Way better shape.
He is. He is. But he can move though. That's the thing. Like
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
large man, he can.
He's a good wrestler.
He is. He is. And but in the end, Mustafa Ali does retain. I mean, it was a good match. We got nothing really too fancy on his in terms of like moves, but it was a solid X Division match.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
So Ali retains. So with that, we are going into our next match. This is probably to determine the number one contendership for the belts. It's the ABC against Eric Young and Josh Alexander. It's basically here are two biggest names. We don't have a spot for them. Let's put them in a tag.
This was a great match too. The thing that I find where they went wrong
Mm-hmm.
is
The dick
ABC
grabs.
are so yeah. ABC are so popular,
Mm-hmm.
and like putting someone like Josh Alexander in this position where he has to face another popular, really like over people,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets overshadowed by how popular they are, I think hurts him because people were way less caring that Josh Alexander was there tonight
Yeah,
than
we
they
didn't have our
were.
buddy walking weapon.
Yeah. But there was crazy face painted lady in the back who at
Mm-hmm.
starting from the last match, I never
Yes.
noticed her before, but from that match on, she was so distracting. She was screaming the whole time, starting chants, and like you can see her right there in the hard cam.
Yeah, but that's pretty funny. But at this point, so ABC does go over. Josh and Eric Young take the loss. Are they doing like a losing streak gimmick for these two because they're not a real tag team? I don't
I don't
know.
know, but it
Like they
was
were
actually
beefing a month ago and now they're
yeah,
friends, and it's like,
it was a pretty good match.
yeah, it was a good match. I'm not saying like these are probably four of your best wrestlers in one match, but it's again, it's a holding pattern. We don't have anything for Josh. It's like now
But
that
if you're gonna
Moose,
keep him here, have him win the tag belts.
at least, you know what I mean?
Because I don't think at that long run, because it's all leading back to the system, right? I don't
Yeah.
think in the long run you're gonna pick. I mean, we already have Nick and Ryan Nemeth there, so it's like
Yeah.
how I don't
But
know
I
if you're
don't,
gonna
like I
have
said, I
another.
don't think they're signed. So I think they're just there to put over. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
So
yeah,
then
we're
do
going to,
you? But they're part of that feud. Ugh,
yeah.
sorry.
Do you do maybe a three-way?
But they're part. Okay, hold on. They're part of the feud with
The system.
the system. So you can't add another tag team, I think, to the good guys to be in a feud against the system. So you have to remove Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth from that
From
group
the
to add
equation. Yeah.
in Josh Alexander and Eric Young, which I don't think that they will.
No, because it's not believable for the system
No.
to beat Josh. And
So I think that's why you did the ABC thing because you know ABC is not going to join up with those guys. And
yeah.
this way you can still have maybe Nick and Ryan win it and then lose it to Josh Alexander and Eric Young later.
Okay. I wouldn't mind
Something
that.
like that. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to think. Or maybe they beef and he's like, I want my real tag partner. And then Ethan Page shows up.
Yeah. Even though he signed with, well, no, he can show up because they have the working relationship now. So it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter.
You
Reunite the
can have
North,
them double
please
up.
do
Have them
that.
win
Reunite
both
the North.
tags. Have them win the
Or
NXT belts
Josh
and that.
Josh has enough, leaves TNA, goes to NXT.
Because literally what you could do is have them win the TNA tag belts and win the NXT tag belts. Because who gives a shit about who has the NXT tag belts? Axiom and Nathan
Yeah,
Fraser. I mean, I
Nathan
kind of
Fraser.
like them actually. So
Yeah, they're kind of cool.
I kind of like them actually.
But I mean, it would mean a lot. Even in a loss to Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, it would mean a lot to both of them for their career. Right. So, but in the end, like we said, ABC does go over. And like we said, it's a holding pattern for Josh and Eric because they got nothing for them right now. They're not
Yep.
part of the main storyline feud, but they're main event guys. So they got to put them somewhere on the card. So with that, we are going to our co-main event. It is a singles match for the TNA World Knockouts Tag Championship. Jordan Grace defending against a mystery opponent. And we kind of all saw this one coming if we watched Battleground last week. Tatum Paxley is her opponent.
So previous match also didn't need to be on the card. Good though. This
Yes.
match was not very good. It was okay. And it absolutely didn't need to be on the card. And this is what bothers me the most about this. You keep teasing the Ash by Elegance thing. Why don't they ever just like when is this gonna happen? Is this just gonna keep doing this
Slammiversary.
forever?
It's Slammiversary.
Yeah, and it's like it's too long of a build for nothing. And you had your A talent from an A show because I guess Impact is one of the bigger companies. So your A show, you had your A #1 talent go to NXT to wrestle their A talent, and then you came on your A show and had a B talent from a
Not
B
even
show.
a B. I would even put her a C.
So a C talent from a B show.
A B talent is someone like a Thea Hale or a Fallon Henley.
You understand? So not even in a show that is equal to as big as your company. NXT's lower than Impact in my eyes.
It would be like sending someone like Tasha Steeles to face Perez.
It would be, yeah, if it's, and it's like it's not the same. So your B show sent a C wrestler to wrestle an A wrestler on an A show on their pay-per-view. Like, no. You could have gave me anybody. You could have gave me JC Jane and it would have been people didn't even know who the fuck it was.
Yeah. It's true though. The crowd was dead for no reaction for it. Like, but we knew that was going to happen because we watched Battleground, we reviewed Battleground. We kind of figured that was going to happen.
I just think you could have did something better for this, right?
Yeah.
At least have an up and coming star, have Lola Vice or someone like that show up.
But then you just gave Lola Vice that huge win. You really want to put her to a loss in that one?
You fucking crush her.
Sol Ruka.
Okay, sure. But this is the point, right?
That would have been a good match.
It's back and forth shows. It's like how AJ Styles is going to show up on Noah. He's not going to beat Marufuji.
Of course not.
But if Marufuji went on WWE, we'll go the opposite. And I think that's how it works, right? It doesn't matter if you're pushing them. Because how many WWE fans do you think showed up to watch this or like bought this pay-per-view? We'll check the numbers eventually and talk about it. But
we'll talk about it probably next week if we do a state. We haven't done a state in a long time.
It is what it is, right? To me, I thought it was, and for the match to turn out just being okay, it's a waste of Jordan Grace. It's a waste of time on my pay-per-view.
And this is just to further the feud between Grace and Ash.
Yeah.
So, but Jordan Grace retains, obviously. So with that, we are going to go into our main event. Moose defending the TNA World Championship against broken Matt Hardy.
He is broken.
Yes. He can't move around anymore.
He also stands on the sides of his feet. I don't know if I started catching on to it or like in the middle
I've been
of the
noticing
match.
that too. Matt Hardy is 4 years older than me. Or sorry, 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
The man's almost 50.
Okay, this match, I'm gonna just say it was good.
It was a good match. There's nothing wrong with the match.
I was really enjoying all the stuff that was going on with.
And Hardy did seem like he was in a little bit better shape from when he left TNA. From he left
I love that
AEW.
speedball thing they were doing with like Trent Seven and like that whole thing, but I don't like
Broken Speedball Mountain.
I like that, and I just it feels like it's going in a weird direction. But now they're like adding people to this feud, and I'm okay with it. This is the one storyline right now that, as much as I don't like the system, I kind of like where it's going.
Yeah, because of the people involved.
It was a really heavy duty match that told a good story. It really reflected the idea of how serious this is.
Yeah.
And there were some really cool spots.
Yeah. They brought Rebby back.
Yeah, there you go. And it felt solid.
It felt special.
Yeah, it did.
It felt special. As much as we're not fans of Moose.
Yeah, but like you could have just did all of the system matches
and just have a system pay-per-view.
And the women's tag match or the women's championship match, and then had the Josh Alexander match, and that would have been a full card.
Card. And the thing is, against all odds, the odds are stacked against you if you're facing the system. You know what I mean? It would have been perfect for the pay-per-view. But in the end, the finish came when Moose pulls Rebby in front of the table. Matt spears Rebby through the table. Then Moose gets the win on Matt Hardy.
Yeah, and then Nick Nemeth comes out with Ryan Nemeth and Joe Hendry.
First the system came back out and they started beating up on everybody. And then Dirty Dango comes out with when Ryan and Nick came out, and then Joe Henry comes out, helps them out, which is he's weird to throw into that mix because he's not really
He
feuding
used to
with them.
have a feud with Dirty Dango, remember, for the
And
digital media
Moose.
bout.
And
Exactly.
Moose.
So if you that kind of has like I feel like
It's bringing it back.
if you have Jeff Hardy, who Jeff Hardy shows up by the
Jeff
way,
Hardy.
and the crowd
So
pops
basically,
big.
literally, his contract expired that day, and he shows up on TNA.
That's good, and I'm happy for it. It's you know what I like about it, and people can make their conspiracy theories whatever they want. It's this tells you a lot. Like people complain about AEW and back and forth and like all this nonsense. They could have took the money and went back to WWE, but they were like, no, fuck it. We're I
Let's
want
have
to
some fun.
let's have some fun with what we're doing. Like this is a place
They're
where we had a good
millionaires
time.
already, so they don't care.
Exactly. Exactly. So I just thought that was really nice that they didn't take the sellout route. Like maybe they'll do it eventually, but
Who knows? Like we're recording this on a Tuesday evening, early evening. Maybe Matt Hardy he did tweet out that he said he might show up at that battle royal in NXT for the #1 contendership tonight.
hey, let him go. We'll see. We'll
I'd
find out.
take it.
But yeah,
Find out in the morning, but
I think Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Joe Hendry, the Nemeth brothers, and potentially if Speedball Mountain sticks with them, is
Mhm.
like a fun little team to go against them now that they have
Then
Dirty
who's
Dango.
gonna go up against Alicia and Masha? Maybe a returning Taylor Wilde?
Yeah, well, for sure, it's gonna be. I think Matt Hardy's wife is gonna be one of the people,
Rebby's gonna be one of them, yeah.
and then it will be like a legit women's wrestler will show up. That who
Okay.
has beef with Masha Slamovich? Maybe Jordan Grace joins them.
Killer Kelly comes back.
Yeah, there you go. Something along those lines.
Yeah. But I mean, all in all, this wasn't a bad show. The actual wrestling on the show was good, but it just
Yeah,
felt more like a glorified
minus the
Impact.
PCO. Minus the
Minus the
PCO.
PCO.
It
Yeah.
just there was if you're gonna load me up with this many matches and like I said, I understand the reason why. At
Hmm.
least have meaningful matches, not just random like
Yeah.
this guy versus this guy. Like it felt a little bit off. And you didn't even defend the digital media belt.
No, AJ Francis was just on the sidelines while AJ Swan, what's his name? Swan, Rich Swan.
Yeah. You could have had PCO versus AJ Francis, and I would have
Yeah.
rather have had that.
And who cares if PCO takes a loss in this?
Yeah. Because his
Have him
storyline went the
even
way it
have
went
him like
anyways.
I would have even had him win by shenanigans. Like they were so behind, Crazy Steve, and he's not even anywhere on the show.
Yeah, poor Crazy Steve. I like Crazy Steve.
Yeah. But with that, show's over. What would you give this show?
You gotta go first.
I mean, the in-ring was good. The booking is a little weird, and the storylines are all over the place. It felt like a glorified Impact. I would have scored it higher if it made more sense and if the card was a little shorter. But for now, I'm just going to give it a 7-3.
I think out of all the Impact pay-per-views we've got recently, this was the best one visual, like watching it wise.
Yeah,
The
in terms of
crowd was the
in-ring.
biggest. It was live. It had like a feel to it. I'm gonna go 7-6.
Okay.
I think it's slightly above a 7-5. It's in the realm of like getting to like a really good spot, but I just think the length of the pay-per-view and like kind of stuff
Yeah.
took away. I could have went higher. I think genuinely could have went higher.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of in-ring work was good, but like we said, like, did any of these matches really need to be on the show?
No.
Right. So with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. Tune in next week. Next week is still up in the air. We don't know. We're probably going to do the New Japan Soul show for sure.
Yeah, okay.
We may do the All Together in Sapporo. We'll see how the wind blows.
Is that the main show for All Together again?
Yeah.
Then yeah, we'll do that for
We'll
sure.
do that. And then if we're free this weekend, right? So we'll probably throw in a state for you next week too. There's a lot to talk about.
When's All Together again?
It was.
It happened
It
already?
happened already, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Altogether, Sapporo was on the 15th, same day as Clash at the Castle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
New Japan Soul. I need to add that to the list, which was the day after.
Sold out.
Yeah, NWO sold out. So with that out of the way, guys, Tune in next week. We'll have some more wrestling views and some more fun stuff for you guys. So make sure that little bell notification is turned on so you know when these videos drop. So in the words of Kenny Omega, goodbye and good night.